Okay, insight number 38. When your mind rules you, when your mind rules you, you're just along for the ride. Okay, so I give the example of a horse in the explanation. If you're riding a horse, it's vitally important for the horse to not make up its mind where it wants to go, but rather it needs to be in a passive mode of receptive mode, passive, to take directions from you. The horse itself has to be remain blank, you know, and take directions from you. Then it can go wherever it wants to go. I mean, you will go wherever you want to go. You are the director. The horse is simply the instrument. The same is true with the mind. The mind is supposed to be simply the instrument, and you are to guide it. Not consider a situation where the horse is out of control. Well, it's not really. Well, it's out of your control. The horse wants to go very well, wherever it wants to go. It's under its own control. So it wants to go here, have a drink of water, gallop over there, have some fun times talking to some other horses. It's fine. Now that's disruptive to you because you're not getting to do your business or your tasks, and so it seems out of control. Out of control. The horse is out of control. Actually, it's doing what it wants to do, and you're not doing what you ought to do. You can't do your tasks during the day. So the same thing is with the mind. If you allow the mind to just carry on with its various functions and let it rule you, you're just along for the ride. You know, the mind, as you know, has its capabilities of calculating, comparing this and that, memorizing things, making connections between ideas, things, finding various things interesting. And so you find a lot of people who are actually under the control of their own mind. They're going around seemingly what appears to be spontaneous, but actually all that's happening is that their mind is making these connections and they're following along. I want to have some ice cream. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to do this. I want to do that. It is vital for the mind to be a pure instrument under your control. As you know, the mind has the ability to make connections between ideas. If your mind gets your focus caught up in these endless connections, then your mind is not serving you. Rather, your mind is distracting you. At that moment, your mind is no longer your instrument of discernment. The mind is there as a vehicle in order that you can use it to notice the connections of things and their differences, and for you to decide what you will think of next or to do, based on the various information available. You're not to simply follow every conceivable thought or idea. You are not to immerse the bulk of your mind in any one limited perspective, and therefore be swept away by its reality. Nor are you to proceed with action with any idea that comes to your mind. In addition, one ought to have enough control over the mind to stop the mind from contemplating every conceivable thought. I mean, if you find a guy who's, thinks of whatever the mind makes connections with, he just 1 minute he's there, 1 minute he's there, 1 minute he's there, 1 minute he's there. You often see some kids are like that. They're just going here and they're doing all kinds of stuff, seemingly non-stop. Not all kids, but a lot of kids, you see some of them are doing that. As I'm sure you know, the rarity of a thing is adds to its attractiveness, the attraction to the mind, because the mind finds things that are different interesting. It impacts the mind. So the more odd it is means the more rare it is, because the opposite would be it's more available, and so you see it on a daily basis, and it's not rare, and so you're familiar with it. It's no longer odd. So rarity has to do with being odd, strange, different, contrasting to the normal, and so the more different it is, the more rare it is, the more different it is, and so the more the mind is thus impacted by it. More on the manipulator. All right. The one doing the attracting sees what is happening. The manipulator understands what to do, how to act, what to wear, how to wear it, and what situation to be in to attract people's minds. They manipulate through looks as well as projecting that they are macho, hip, cool, superior, arrogant, and or confident, when really inside they might be very insecure. There's a difference between how they're actually feeling and what they're projecting to you. That's called pretension, deceiving. Oh, that's crafty. Of course, they might genuinely think that they are hip and cool. They might base their coolness on something which they highly value. Some women project the fake reality that they are better than men. This reality which they project affects insecure men negatively, which leads the men to becoming possessive of the women they meet in the future. Simply because a man does not feel good about himself, he might become needy of a woman to tell him about his beauty, attractiveness, sweetness. Again, he might become needy of a woman to tell him about his attractiveness, about his sweetness, about his lovability, etc. Of course, a woman's simple presence with a man might be indication enough for the man that he is appealing in some unknown way. An interesting point is that many women, out of fear or self-preservation, might turn away from men who try to approach them. Many women mean no disrespect, but it appears that way to some of the men. All right, so some men believe the fake reality that some women have been telling them, both subtly and directly, that men are not beautiful and that men are lower than women. Some women are not projecting that message. Maybe the men mistakenly think that some women are projecting that thought. This subject has to be brought up in another book on relationships. The family upbringing has a lot to do with it, and the society as well. Men are not told that they are beautiful while they are growing up. They are told that they must be strong. Once in an extremely long while, a man might get a compliment that he is handsome, but honestly, I don't know what that means, and many other men do not know either. Because of this, many men mistakenly feel that women are beautiful and men are not. This is very cruel to the mind of the male. This belief crushes the self-esteem of many men as far as self-beauty is concerned. By self-beauty, I mean what men think of themselves in regards to beauty. Men just don't think that they're beautiful. Many men are not aware that they're beautiful. Many men don't know what beauty is. I mean, they're familiar with what is considered female beauty, but male beauty, they're not aware. The ladies, let's see, yeah, the ladies who use such cruel words as ugly to describe a man. I'm not sure if they are aware of the damage and the degree of insult and self-abasement that they help make the man feel. It's very, very cruel. The man already feels down about himself, and for a woman to put the man down in any sort of way, especially about his looks, ooh, very bad, very bad. Uh, what happens to many men is that they develop many men are ill-treated, and so when later in life, if they do get into a relationship, it might come out their displeasure of how they've been treated all these years, including by the woman that loves them supposedly. Uh, she may use a measure of control on him, and this we're human beings, meaning we're any person, male or female, when they have low self-esteem, it's not a good thing at all. And for somebody else to put them down on top of that, it makes the person feel very low about themselves. All right, so here, example Q, feeling low and power in the relationship. All right, so a man might think that he is not attractive because ladies do not approach him. The reason could be that he feels low about himself. Yeah, he could feel low about himself. This in turn shows on his face, and when women look at his face, they see a miserable expression, and based on this, they do not approach. So this is one situation that does happen. Women could also be shy, which makes it difficult for them to approach, even though they might be interested. Similar to men and women, both. You have to both realize that you're extremely shy when you're young, especially when you're not, to approach. It's just, extremely difficult to handle rejection. You don't know what to say, you're nervous, So this is very true for both. And, I've heard that women say men should approach, but you have to realize, women, when you say this, you have to realize that most men are as nervous just as you are to approach a man. It's a big thing. So it's not as easy. It's a big thing. Just like you feel nervous to try to approach a man, it's the same exact thing for the man. Okay, let's see. Many women falsely believe that it is a man's job to approach. Therefore, if there is a man they are interested in, still, in their opinion, he has to approach her. There are many reasons. Anyway, here I am just focusing on a few. Many women want to keep the so-called power in the relationship. They keep projecting a reality that the man is lower than them. They want the man to always go after the woman in order for the woman to always keep the man in a state of discomfort, instability, and always keep him guessing as to the state of the mind of the woman. Some women say otherwise he might lose interest. You see, some women know that if they were simply themselves, they would have no magical manipulation to control the relationship. It is better to be completely honest and have a mature relationship that helps both you and the other grow as opposed to controlling and manipulating each other. Yeah, I mean, if somebody's controlling somebody else, that's not a relationship. That's not a genuine mutual, equal relationship. It's not, it is a relationship in the strictest sense of the word, but it's not a genuine relationship that is meant for like love and partner. Yes, we want to establish contact with you, like a relationship or dating of some sorts. Men, after a while, would realize that a number of these women are actually not suited for them. Based on this, when you ask women to go out with you, realize that just because the woman says no does not mean that she is saying no because she rejects you. Rather, in many cases, she says no because you would reject her if you knew her better. Oh, okay, good. Of course, men use manipulations too. Many pretend to be nice or pretend to be bad to get their way and to take advantage of ladies. At times I am thoroughly amazed at the degree of uncaring and lack of sympathy of some men towards women. But then again, this way of one-focused thinking, the purely sexual thinking, is generated within the male through years of external influences that largely focus on sexual pleasure alone. He's been, thoroughly influenced. So there's a lot of uncaring going on, both from men towards women and women towards men. In many cases where it is genuinely believed that women are emotional and men are not, I find the opposite to be true as well. A lot of women are just not caring towards men. I've seen some women who just not caring. Of course, this is both for men and women. Both, you have some of them who are caring, some are not. Of course, there are countless men who are genuinely caring and emotional, but their sexual overtures, meaning their expressing of their sexual wants, make them appear as though sex is all they think about. It's a lot, but not all they think about. The appearance of this one-sided thinking is translated by the female as being uncaring. The fact is that many men, due to their overwhelming focus on sexual pleasure, might not be aware of the degree of uncaring that their behavior is interpreted as by the females who have been sought after sexually. So a lot of men approach women, they're talking as friends or whatever, and then the male is under so much sexual influence that eventually something he may say something to the female, something about sex or some ideas he wants to discuss or learn, or something comes out that is inappropriate, whatever it is, and the female thinks, all this man wants is sex. Oh, you're like all men. That's what she says, But actually, a lot of males. So you have the males that are uncaring towards females. Okay, we understand that, and they're after one thing, yes, sex. But also you have a lot of males who are both caring and also under the influence of sexual information. So this male who is genuinely caring towards females and all beings is gonna come out and say something related to sex as well. But when he is categorized as uncaring, it really hurts him because he is actually caring, and he doesn't want to be categorized as uncaring. Okay. Good.